Hello and welcome to Find Your Inner Flavor podcast. We're not streaming it live, but we're recording it live up here today at the Gaslight. Thanks to Media Outlaws, Matt and Nick are doing the recordings. You'll see this on YouTube, and we'll have our show on iTunes as well. We are the co-owners of Symbol. You, Gregory Owens,
Hi,
and
everybody.
Myself. We own Symbol. We're located in Kirkwood, Chesterfield, and in St. Charles, Missouri. And we are the creators of Find Your Inner Flavor. We talk about real life, real happiness, and real business, the shit that happens and how we get through it all. Joining us today is Chef Chris Lee and his lovely wife, Sandra Lee.
Hello.
Welcome. Chris, we've known each other for actually quite some time when you were the executive chef at Cafe Ventana, Sanctuaria, all of those fabulous restaurants you helped open up and create their menus. And then I met your lovely wife, Sandra, when she walked into our restaurant one day, and we had been friends on Facebook for a long time.
Thick as thieves.
I know. We were like sisters instantly.
Immediately. It was like, boom. Yeah.
And then you were able to create my beautiful hair. So
We have a lot of fun.
welcome.
Thank you for having us. We're
So
so
our
excited.
theme and our topic today is based on the word passion. You guys have gone through quite a bit.
Just a little.
In the last year. I think one of the reasons we wanted you guys to be one of our very first guests is because, one, you're in the industry, you're from the industry, so we can relate in a lot of ways in regards to that. But second, what happens when all of a sudden overnight, everything that you've known, everything that you've done, your passion in creating a business is gone. So can you take us back to a little bit of time ago and just talk about like what had happened?
on November 2nd.
Start there.
Well, that would
Should
probably
the
be the
jumping off point.
Yeah,
That would
the
be
ju-
so. Yeah, 25 years you in the industry.
This is a really
basically
long podcast.
Yeah, basically, your life in the business.
You might want to go get a soda and a sandwich because here we go.
Yeah, restaurant business. Basically, your whole life. Your father as well, right?
Yeah.
So
I
in your
started in the
blood-
restaurant business at 15 at Ponderosa.
No
a
kidding.
God
dishwasher.
save you.
Yep, I was a dishwasher, and then I worked my way up to busboy.
Oh,
Sweet.
And then I decided this isn't the place for me, and I quit. And then I went to, I knew the place I wanted to be was McDonald's, so I worked at McDonald's for a couple of years.
really?
I was fired twice, actually, from McDonald's. And
What'd
I was
you do?
brought back because I was one of the few people at like 16 that could work a Friday night by himself on the grill.
Really?
I told them, they said, you need to be here at 6 a.m. I said, I don't get up at 6 a.m. It's just
He
not,
still doesn't get up
Yeah.
at 6
No,
a.m.
if I can help it.
Terrible.
They said, well, we schedule him. You can schedule me all you want. I'm only 16. And this isn't a life-changing career for me, so I won't be there. And I didn't. So they brought me back anyway.
They said we'll take
Yeah,
you when we can get
whatever.
you.
Yeah.
All right. So but
November
25
2nd.
years.
So I've been in the restaurant business almost 30 years. Opened restaurants, opened banquet centers. I'd started Chef's Table about 2 years ago.
Which was your own gig.
Which was my gig. We did catering, consultation, teaching. I've kind of done it. Unlike you, I've done quite a lot. November 2nd, I'm in a men's ministry, Christian Crusaders. We ride motorcycles is one of the things we do. I just got back from Las Vegas doing a food show with Bungie. Met up with my friends and brothers, Tom Trostel and Tom Becker. We were to SOP down off 21 to do a heroin rally. There was a young lady that worked for me
So
recently.
you weren't doing heroin.
No. Those days have since passed. It's hard.
Making
It's
sure
hard to
everybody
spread the
in the
message
audience gets
when
that
you
one.
can't talk.
Right.
So,
So you're clean and sober
Yeah.
and just trying to do the good thing.
12 years.
Yeah.
Yep. We went down there. It started raining. It was like a spot of rain over top of us. Went down 141. We're coming back up. Long story short, there was another lady going the wrong way on 141. One of the guys got out of the lane, and my best friend and brother, Tom Trostel, was hit first by the lady going the wrong way. I was hit second, dead on at a 70-mile-per-hour car crash. Was in the hospital for a week in ICU. Then I was in another care unit for a month, and it's 9 months later, and I'm not capable of really working the physical demands of a kitchen. So I shut down Chef's Table in March. It seemed like the best thing to do, and I've really just been trying to get back on my feet since. So.
And you've picked up what kind of work?
So I have a friend that said, "Hey, I want your chaps," and I thought that was weird. I had my chaps on the night of the accident, and they had to cut them off me, so they're ruined. And I said, "For what?" And he said, "Because I'm going to make you a knife, and I'll make you a knife sheath out of your chaps." And I said, "Well, how do you do that?" And I the famous YouTube thing. You can do anything if you watch YouTube enough. So I made a little notepad holder out of it, and then I was like, wow, that really helped my hand. My arm was dislocated, and I had a halo on my arm for quite a while that shattered my elbow. So the up and down movement and the fine motor movements of cooking are hard for me, but up and down, back and forth were easy enough. So I started doing leather work, and it's kind of grown into.
So Sandra,
real quick. I mean, you're actually putting your work out there now.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. So
salt and light leather.
I guess where we're going with this is the whole passion of your cooking and what your life was before that moment. You're now having to find, a replacement. I can't really even imagine. I mean, obviously you do what you have to do, but
right.
When you devote that much time to something that is as impersonal and as intense as cooking can be, then all of a sudden not being able to do that. It's even like on vacation. You
do it at least once a day. You have to.
Everybody eats. But it's what do you do with yourself?
Right.
I think people that aren't in the industry don't quite realize how, as a chef, you're always thinking about what needs to be prepped, ordered, what scheduling, forecasting, all that stuff. So
why am I not busy?
Why am I not busy? Why are we so damn busy?
Right. Why is food cost so high? Yeah. Where is Bill?
There's so many little minutia things, and then to have that all just, gone. What do you do?
And what I'm just curious for you, being the wife. I mean, you've seen your husband. You guys met in the industry. This is the only life you guys have known together is this industry. Like, where was your mind at when all of a sudden you see your husband, okay, this is all he knows. Now what? You've done a career change.
I have.
What do you're a hairdresser.
I went back to school in my 30s, and
in your 30s.
I thought you were only 30.
You look
30
early 20s.
Thank you. I did. We actually worked together. I was the GM of Sanctuaria, and we worked in that restaurant, and then we decided if we wanted
the hardest night in my whole life was one night she came home and was lamenting about
you're coming home
work.
With me.
And
nice.
I knew as soon as I said what I felt like I had to say, I was sleeping on the couch. And she was going on and on. I'm like, you do realize I'm your boss. And it felt like someone stabbed me in the heart, but I was like, you have to do your job. And I don't want to be that guy, but I'd rather it come from me than somebody else. And
that was the best night of my life.
Yeah,
that went well, didn't it?
It pretty much sucked.
It sucked from that day forward. But you've gone through a career change. So you went from one passion, bartending, all that.
And he supported me fully.
Yeah.
To switch. He's like, you're not happy. You keep trying at the same thing. Do what makes you happy. And so I was like, I'm going to go to beauty school, So it was
Sandra Lee, the beauty school dropout.
Actually,
she didn't drop out.
No, you didn't.
I did the first time.
Oh,
excellent.
Okay, so I had a scholarship to go to a beauty school, full ride. I interviewed, I tested everything, and I never went. I took a job at the car dealership across the street from the school instead, because that makes total sense. So 20 years later, I went to school, and here I am. So he totally supported me through that. And we've been together 13 years, married 7, and this is the most I've seen him since November.
That is true.
So every birthday, every anniversary, every holiday, anything that is yours to celebrate is his to celebrate. I mean, he was working in fine dining, I do miss him wearing the toque. I'm not gonna lie. I love that whole chef's outfit. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Do you have one?
Do I miss that? No.
Oh my God, I hate that.
I love that.
You can play dress up night.
I love a uniform. I love a uniform.
That comes with an attitude she doesn't like very much.
Oh yeah, where he's the boss. So
I bet you like that.
Skip that one. Back on track.
We're talking about passion.
Yeah, that's a different sort of passion.
So you discover your passion, you start a whole new career, and now you see your husband who's all of a sudden losing everything that he's known. What were you like? What was kind of going through your mind when you were thinking about what is he going to do now? You're still questioning it.
You know, when I knew that he was alive, from that second, I moved forward of like, okay, he has to get better, he has to get stronger, and that's been my main focus. And whatever that means, he has to do, we have to do it together. We don't work separately. We're a team. So if that means that he has found his passion in leather, it's not that it. I mean, he still can cook, right? Obviously.
Yeah, I don't know. You were kind of complaining the other day about not getting dinners.
Well, he really stepped it up.
Okay, good.
But it just, you know, it's kind of like the
Hot Pockets.
Hot Pockets.
Delicious.
Hot Pockets. But his medium has just changed. He can still love people and express himself, but it's just more of a different visual of creativity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you would get a plate of his food and you're like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. It tastes amazing. And you could never really duplicate that at home unless you had his skill set. Well, now he has a new skill set. I mean, the fact that he can teach himself banjo from YouTube and leatherwork from banjo is amazing.
So maybe you'll be recording your first soundtrack.
Yeah.
And a two.
It'll be exciting. The banjo chef.
Yeah.
I never felt like scared, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to us? It's just like you have to put your head down and you have to work. And somehow along the way, we're going to figure it out.
You guys, I can't lie. When I've seen your whole journey, you guys put a lot of stuff out there on social media. You were doing live videos oftentimes from your bed. You were expressing how, you know, Chris is all of a sudden one day he has to go home.
And let's face it, you cut and color her hair, and you know, you tell your hairstylist
it's like
everything.
Therapy.
Yeah, absolutely. So
more expensive route.
No.
For me.
But you guys shared a lot. You guys shared a lot about what was going on with everybody. It wasn't even just certain people. And I think that there is a rawness about it. But there's one thing that you guys never hid and were so open about, and that was your belief in God and how that was guiding you and your connection there. And you trusted, you had so much more faith. And you and I have had this conversation. I'm not a religious person, but I'm a super spiritual person. Right. We speak the same language. Right. We may use different terminology, but there is a faith that you have to have that is so much deeper than anything else. And I mean, I applaud you guys because that is truly the thing that has shown more than anything that has gotten you through so much.
I think one of the interesting things is that you have to be. We go through this world, the time right now, so fast, and we're always looking at our phones, and we're checking in, and you know, doing this, and this is what our family's doing. We're trying to give this perception of like we've got it together, right? When in actuality, if we would just take time to speak to one another, we would find out that we're all going through the same thing,
right?
And sometimes you just have to be vulnerable and put it out there. If someone doesn't like it, that's not on me, then maybe there's something we should talk about. We get a lot of messages, we get a lot of prayer requests, and doors are opening that we never would have had this not have happened. Right. So are we going through this for us?
No.
Or are we going through it for someone else?
Yeah. That's a beautiful way of thinking about it, honestly. Because you're working on a project, though. You're consulting on a project right now, aren't you? Can you talk about that a little bit?
I still consult with Bungie. I'll be in Oak Park 2-3 weeks. With McDonald's headquarters. That's going to be fun.
Hey, he fired me twice.
Yeah, I asked. I know, that's like full circle, isn't it? Full circle right there.
McDonald's might be
fired as a line cook, now hired as a consultant. Oh. And there's another project I'm working on that you guys know, opening something new takes time, and you want to be reserved about how much you say, because with anything, you
yeah.
think you're going in a direction,
Sure.
and then all of a sudden the brakes get pumped, and that's kind of where this gentleman's at right now. It's going to go forward. It'll be a really cool project. My skill set, I was French trained, and I get to use some of that skill set now at the new spot, but in such a way that it won't have all of the verbiage with it.
Right.
You know, and I'm pretty excited about that. And we'll see how that goes. It's going to be pretty cool.
I sometimes question and wonder, because in this industry, in the restaurant industry, we work really hard.
Oh, yeah.
We have this mentality that you have to work really hard in order to make money. And I almost question if sometimes something like this winds up happening to say, you've had it all wrong.
Well, that night of the accident, my friend Tom that passed said, Chris, you got to slow down. I mean, that morning I got up at 3. Where the shop was is pretty dicey, so I'm packed with a 45. It's dark outside. I'm in an alley loading a van to go do a delivery, and then I have to do 4 other things before I met those guys that night. And he's like, you have to slow down. You can't. You just go, 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 go. And I realized since I've been, more or less on my back for several months, like, what the hell was I working so hard for? I wasn't making a dime. You guys know that. Initially, you work to pay the employees, so you don't have to do everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's really where Chef's Table was at. And I'm not bad-mouthing that or belaboring it. It was just,
That's how it is.
In retrospect, when you look at it, you're like, man, I was working so hard to pay everyone around me and support everyone around me, which I was very thankful for. But at the same time, I wasn't gleaning a thing from it. I was just working to work.
So if there was no accident and you have now experienced all this, and you have a message or something like that to give to somebody else that could be listening, who's living the same lifestyle that we're all living, what would it be? Because how do you shift that when you have responsibility of bills to pay, employees under your books, all of these other things?
Oh, yeah.
What do you say?
I think it's a challenge. It's not a cut and dry answer. I think that the challenge is you just need to take the time. I think the most important thing that I've never done for myself is to take a step back and look at it, and look at it honestly, and surround yourself with people that can help you look at those things honestly. In the restaurant business, it's like you go behind that closed door and you shut the door to everything. Now I'm here, so I'm in my mode and I'm in my work mode. And then when you open that door back again, you only go 20 feet to your bed. There's little or no interaction in that 20 feet. And I think the most important thing is to surround yourself with people that'll speak into your life honestly. And at the same time, you have to be honest enough with yourself to back away from it and say, okay, is this worthwhile? Is what I'm doing worthwhile? Does this make sense? And does this make honest sense? And otherwise you're just spinning your wheels. I would sit at home on slow days. We all have slow days in restaurant business, especially now in August, and be like, I need to do this, this, and this, and never paying any attention that I just did 3 food shows, and catered every day for the past 2 months. It wasn't good enough that day I had a break, and I think that's a challenge. And I see the restaurant industry is changing in that way. You were talking about that earlier. People want off. People want to have time to themselves and have a personal life. For us, and I'm not saying we're older, we're more mature in this, we're like, no. We have to give all of our blood, sweat, and tears into this. And I just don't feel it's that way anymore, honestly.
Yeah, I think that what we're discovering and learning is that it really is what our employees are embracing and wanting is a culture.
Yeah.
That supports who they are and what they're wanting.
Right.
They want days off to go to concerts or whatever it is.
Solar eclipses.
We closed for the solar eclipse.
That's cool. I know that was a hard decision.
It was a really hard decision, and I think I probably made that obvious.
Right.
Yeah, somebody might have been a little bitter.
I mean, you might want to,
Calm down. Here's the thing with social media. I think you see 2 perceptions to it. One, you see the perception of those people that put all the things out there that they want others to see that makes their life look so fairy tale like, and like I'm Pollyanna skipping through the forest. I don't live that life.
Right.
I mean, I'm pretty honest about, I have a positive outlook on almost everything that's going on, but I'm real. I mean, there's real life stuff. I can't tell Ameren, hey, the eclipse was going on and my employees want it off.
So can you prorate?
And the moon and the stars are lining up correctly today. So can we just not pay our bill this month?
That's the big problem.
Because I'm going to call them.
You have that mindset.
No, it didn't work.
No, you have that mindset in the industry and the people that are coming in to work the industry, but they're not the customers that are paying the bills.
Right.
Because the customers don't give a shit. You're not open. Why aren't you open? Why don't you have this?
Right.
What do you mean you're short-staffed?
We don't care.
They don't give a damn.
No.
But yet, all of a sudden, and I've seen it, and we're about the same age, right? I think, yeah. I mean, when I first started to now, I mean, the thought of asking off for something like an eclipse.
You didn't.
Oh my God.
You get laughed at or
didn't
beat
even
up.
come into my head.
Right.
Hell no.
Well, and
you just worked. And, an 8-hour shift, we've had people, a 7-hour shift, that's a long shift.
Right.
Well, a double.
That's just the first half.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's just your that's the
You're
time
just getting warmed up.
That's the time you're supposed to be in before you actually start getting paid.
Right. Yeah.
A double is actually 8 hours.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, we've heard that one too.
I'm working a double today. It's 8
So
hours.
it's like, it's hard because we have this workforce and this community and what we're trying to build, but then we're also trying to serve a community that really, it's not even that they don't get it, they don't believe in it, it's not their existence.
Right. It's not their culture.
No, the millennial
culture.
The millennial culture is this whole new thing. I think I put a help wanted ad out there that said I don't even remember what it was.
Saw it.
Was exactly like here, we want to work with you, but you need to work with us and all of this other stuff, and then you need to replace yourself when you leave.
Right.
Because it's challenging to find those that have the work ethic that it takes to work in a kitchen.
Right.
Or to own a restaurant, and yet the industry as a whole, you've got these culinary students graduating, thinking that they're chefs the moment that they come out, and they're way above doing dishes or sweeping.
Well, I think that
mopping?
to fall back into that passion. When I started my apprenticeship, I'd already been cooking here and there in St. Charles, and my friend was a maitre d' for a restaurant, and he said, "Why don't you come out and actually learn how to be a chef?" And I said, okay. So I go talk to this guy, and he was French, Jean-Claude Guillaume. And he said, "So, monsieur, I have to ask you one thing. What is the one thing that every chef needs to
wish
be
he had that hat.
to be a great chef?"
It's got the French accent.
And I said, fire? And he's like, no. I said, a stove? No. Oven? A knife? Like all these tangible things. He goes, no, none of those, monsieur. The thing that a chef needs is love. You have to love what you do. And I feel like the younger generation sees what they see on television and they think, I'm going to make a quick buck. And then they get into a 100-degree kitchen with some madman on the other side of the counter beating on it like, I want this now because you have a 20-minute ticket time and they've exceeded it by 20 minutes. And that's where the love comes in, that passion for it. You can't do this with the typical trade mindset because you're not going to punch in and clock back out. You're responsible for something. And more importantly, on that side of things, you're responsible for someone's safety at the end of the day. Those people are ingesting whatever you're cooking. So if you don't have your stuff together, you're not paying attention to what you're doing, not only did they lose money because they had a poor meal, they could potentially go to the hospital because you prepared it improperly.
And then they'll get in a situation where they need to have like Kambu kombucha.
Yeah, exactly.
It's delicious.
Kambu.
The
Wonderful
Bloody
time.
Marys
They'll need
with
to
the citrus
their,
are fabulous. Thank
shameless
you.
plug. But yeah, and I don't.
It is an industry that is, I tell everybody, and this is how we approach it. It's a love-hate relationship. One, if you're coming into the industry for the very first time, never worked in it, and you hate it, you will do everything that you can to never come back into it again. If you love it, you're going to figure out a way of always doing it. And we train in the kitchen. I mean, Greg has the experience training or teaching. Right. And then years in the industry. So we consider ourselves a pretty training restaurant.
Right.
And when people are back there cooking for the first time, we're sitting there going, are you making love to this food?
Right.
Right.
or are you just feeding this food up?
We
there
do use
is-
that expression a lot.
We
It's
do.
like, you got to
I've
dance
got one,
with
but
it.
I
You gotta,
won't share it today.
Yeah,
Okay.
have sex
Sunday.
with it. Food should be sexy. You should make love
Yeah.
to it. Treat it nice, you know.
When you taste something, you can always tell if the person liked cooking it.
It is.
Oh,
It's an
absolutely.
energy that everybody
You can
winds
taste,
up.
you're like, ooh, they do not like this fish, or, whatever it is. But I also think dining has changed. My first restaurant gig was Riddles in U City.
Back in the day.
Back in the day,
no.
when I was like 11.
Yeah, you must have been really young.
And it was amazing. We had just a groove and an energy there. And the people came and you engaged with them. And we were excited to be there and give them an experience. Just as being in the front of the house for his restaurants, these people come in, they want an experience. So we're working just as hard in the front as you do in the back. And it comes together to create.
It is.
Right? And now I feel like and we have an amazing culinary
St. Louis.
culture in
Yeah.
St. Louis. I mean, they are doing some
would agree.
amazing, talented, unique stuff. Right?
Don't
It's hidden.
look at these two. These two
you
are
two
like
be
making
quiet.
the ugly
You know what?
faces
The ones that you know about aren't
Right.
the ones that are actually really doing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if
you have to
if
go out of the box.
Yeah.
You can't just go on what you read.
Well, I think that goes hand in hand with a lot of things. Listen to music. You listen to the music that's on the radio. Well, that's the paid for
Right.
music
Right,
advertising.
right.
You go to the restaurant that you see in all of the magazines
Right.
all the time. Yeah, you're going to get an experience because you're thinking you're part of the in crowd
Right.
with
Right.
it. But really,
it's some schmuck that
yeah,
you've never heard of.
there's a
that's
Thai
turning out the
restaurant.
good
There's a
stuff.
Thai restaurant in Baldwin that's
Yeah.
really under the radar. Thai Bistro, is that what it's
No,
called?
Shit.
I can't
We're
remember
terrible
it.
people
We're
now.
horrible.
I know where it is.
But anyway, there's a small little Thai restaurant in Baldwin
rice?
that is amazing.
Right.
And nobody would know anything about that.
you barely drive by it 20 million times and never know it's there.
Yeah. So it is kind of those things that are under the radar. And you can tell, and we've talked about this before also, is that
we see it in our employees. The ones that genuinely like what they do
Yeah.
put out significantly better food.
and that's what I always say is that I'm not hiring you like I own you. Like if this isn't
Right.
what you want to do, I'm going to help you figure out what you want to do, and I will
Get off the payroll.
introduce
Right.
you to other people to get
Right.
another job. I don't want
For a
that.
long time, I was the guy the convincer.
Ah.
There, shut up, boy, get back to work.
It doesn't
And
work.
that
No.
kills you
Yeah.
after a while.
And I have to assume that the hair industry is very similar. Like, I mean, you're going in there for something that you're walking out carrying as a part of who you are. There's a passion behind that. If you don't love what it is that you're doing, you're now imprinting that on the person who's sitting in your chair.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got them in your seat sometimes for 2 hours at a time.
And she's got scissors
With sharp
Yeah.
objects.
And chemicals.
and chemicals.
Yeah.
Oh, did that get in your eye?
Jack
Sorry.
You didn't want that mohawk? Whoops. No, absolutely. It's, I was told by our dear, very missed friend Tom that I am sensitive. And that
Really?
it rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, no, I'm not. And then over.
Oh, so you were being sensitive about
Yeah.
being
So I was being
sensitive?
She's been
sensitive about
sensitive
it, and
about
I'm like,
sensitivity.
okay, I'm freaking sensitive. So I just embraced it, and it's very sensitive when someone doesn't like something that I've done because I want them to
it's
come in
art.
feeling one way, and I want them to leave feeling good and positive and bold and excited.
Yeah.
And that mostly that always happens when you get a text from a client who's like, oh my gosh. Especially, I mean, you rock my day. I'm like, oh. But, you're just like, yes. Like, I made a difference in someone's life.
It is. Well, part of the
So
thing
you
that
enjoy
you're...
having me bring the boys in?
I love doing your boys' hair.
Yeah. 'cause
Each of them
they're
are
so
different
excited.
and unique.
They're so. Yeah.
Yes, they're just
Stoked
like,
for
yes,
it.
please cut my hair.
I think that is the interesting thing about doing hair is that you're imprinting that person's self-confidence. I mean, food is all about an experience in that moment
Right.
that's only going to last a short bit of time.
Unless it's unhealthy food, and then it lasts a lot
A
longer.
long,
and then
long
when you
time.
need
You need
some
Kambloo.
Kambloo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Delicious chocolate malts from Chuck-a-Burger.
They are so good.
And
So
that's the other
delicious.
thing that most people don't know when they say, "Oh, well, what does the chef eat all the time?" They
Oh
eat,
my
they have
gosh.
the worst eating
worst
habit.
diet ever.
Yeah,
Love
it's
you.
like
There's nothing
I'm
wrong
alive.
Yeah. Totino's pizzas are delicious.
He loves those
They're
things.
awesome.
Pizza.
And I'm are you bitter about the square thing? They're not the same.
It's not the same.
No, it's not the same.
You can't cut it in a 4. You can,
It's
but
the
they're
same
not.
pizza in a
No,
different shape.
it's not a
Right
square. Yeah, it's not.
Wow.
It's just an emos.
So I want to so I know we're kind of getting into the show a little bit more, and we've had a lot of fun talking about the industry as a whole. Mm-hmm. You guys are still up against some obstacles.
Yeah.
And because here's the thing. As Joe Schmo out there who's seen your guys' story, most are probably sitting there going, oh, they were in a car accident, wasn't their fault, probably going to wind up settling, getting $1 million for it, and then they can live the high life and do whatever it is that they want to do.
We're going to buy an island and hire pirate actors.
Can we just come
It's going to be amazing.
Can we be invited?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
we'll
Greg
go for
can
the-
be
we'll
our
go-
resident
Greg can
mermaid.
cook
We'll go for the
You can
booty.
be my
Yeah, I'll
our
We'll
just
get a
mermaid.
nice
there.
barbecue pit.
But that's the reality that most would be thinking is happening. But that's not the reality.
Absolutely the opposite.
So you're stuck in the red tape, the insurance nightmare, all of it. I mean, it's just.
You pay all this money.
I think you guys had mentioned the Facebook. We've been very as transparent as we feel that we ought to be, and for some of that for legal reasons.
Sure.
We can't really say everything. More and more lately, I've been a little quieter about things just because as time goes on, people do have a perception of where you should be or what they think. Hasn't this gone on long enough? Believe me, I feel the same way. But right at the beginning with the Facebook stuff, I felt like you see a lot of people that say they're Christians and something bad happens and they fall away. Mm-hmm. They close the door and they don't let anybody in. And Sandra and I had talked about this right before this happened. Like, why should we do that? Because you and I are incapable of doing this by ourselves, and it says in the Bible that we're to be a community. So if we don't invite people in to be communal with us, then how can we expect to have a difference in our own lives? So it's not saying that now that we're not trying to have that community with people, but I think we're trying to be a little more
discreet as to who
discerning
it is.
about that.
Sure. I mean, Facebook is only for the good
right.
stuff. Yeah.
And that's part of it. And the other part of it is, it was 9 months ago, but my leg was broken 4 spots right below my knee.
9 months is nothing.
So my meniscus is still not working right. My arm, I don't have half the strength that I had.
You couldn't lift the
I can't pick up a gallon of milk.
Wow.
skillet.
I can't pick up a cast iron skillet to save my life. That blows my mind.
Wow.
I've been
I
picking
made
up
the
skillets all
bagels.
my life, Hucking that 40 quart off the stove and then pouring it by yourself, and now that's just not a reality. So further answer your question, no, we're not by any stretch rich. I haven't worked since November.
We're rich in passion.
Yeah, we're rich in passion. Was that credit rich and dollar poor? That's
The thing is like you pay your bills and you tithe at your church, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, money is,
it goes quick.
It goes so fast. And honestly, it's been are we like, oh, this is great. We don't know what's happening tomorrow. We're not. I mean, we're honest. It's hard. Sometimes the night seems extra long. But we have people who speak into our lives.
And friends like you guys. And
Yeah. And it's
I think there is something that you have to give credit to, is that when something happens, we didn't really know each other that well prior to the accident.
Right.
I mean, the accident in a lot of ways was a reality of how quickly, when you see somebody whose passion is in this industry and has put so much heart and soul into it, and then you see their whole world change overnight. One, grateful you're alive, but at the same time, life will never really be exactly the same.
Right.
And when it hits home and you see somebody else going through this, I think that's what pulled us in and said, how can we help? And it was like, even just going to you and getting my hair done. It was like, there were all of these shifts that happen, and then that's where you go, there's a friendship here.
Right.
And you build this friendship, and your community that supports you probably shows up stronger, more so than they
Amazingly
ever
so.
have been.
we never knew we had this many people who care.
It is. It's
sure.
a blessing. I mean, there's a passion in just that piece that I think is oftentimes overlooked.
Right.
And it shouldn't take a tragedy for that
It
to show
shouldn't.
up.
But it almost
shouldn't.
always does.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's next? What's next?
Ooh, what's
In our
next?
time, are we getting?
Yeah, we're
down?
getting timed out.
Oh.
What's next? Do you have any ideas?
So we're doing plug your leather work.
Well, I started Salt and Light Leather, and since the accident, I've been working on a pretty big Bible study. I feel like I'm being called into ministry more and more. And since the accident, before the accident, I was thinking if I get up at 3 a.m, I can work on this. And you know what that's like. That's never going to happen. I can get up at 3 a.m. and work out. Like, that's ever going to happen, too. So now I actually have the time to work on that
Only
stuff.
your wife.
Yeah.
So I've been working relatively diligent on that, and just really reconnecting with my wife, who honestly for the past 13 years I haven't been that present, you know.
you guys have taken some little trips.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's
Through
fun.
the grace of other people, it's been pretty awesome.
We've been blessed with trips through other kindness of people.
That's
So
awesome.
It's been amazing.
So tell us what you do and where people can find you, Sandra.
I work in Kirkwood at Trim, a hair salon, and I do hair and I do skin, waxing,
Who do you do skin for?
Rodan and Fields.
I was going to say.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Make sure
yeah,
you
plug
mention
her
what it
Rodan.
is that you
Oh
do.
yeah, I love skincare. I love hair care. I love soul care. I love people.
And this color is your
Yeah,
your
and
color.
look at this.
You're
This
like
is
my
my
color
creation.
genius.
It's purple passion.
I want to thank you guys for joining us today. This was memorable. We were thanks to Con Blue for
Yes.
sponsoring
Yes.
us
Very
and
delicious.
allowing us the avenue to do these recordings out of the Gaslight. Matt and Nick with Media Outlaws.
And Mark, don't forget Mark.
Mark is back there
in
doing
sound.
the sound.
Hi.
They were very diligent in making sure everything was staged
Yeah.
and set up
Perfect. Yes.
correctly.
like
We've
a
got a little bit
professional
of an
get-up.
audience out there. We're going to be recording these live at the
Hi, audience.
Gaslight. We've got 2 more showings for sure that we're doing the last Sunday in October and the last Sunday in November.
So
we
exciting.
hope at some point some people come out here and they listen. Con Blue has been working with Chris, the bartender out here, and creating some different drinks for you to come and partake in.
Very delicious.
Yeah, the Bloody Booch is pretty good.
Pretty slamming.
I know. So we want to thank everybody for joining us here at Find Your Inner
Thank you all.
Flavor.
Thank you
We
guys for
are
coming
here
in and
at the
sharing.
Thank you.
Gaslight.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
It's
you.
a real honor.
My goal, I have to just say this, and
Yes.
it may happen here soon. My
Yes.
goal
Gonna get
is to
something
create.
weird.
No, my goal is to create a dinner that you two do together.
You can't pick up a
Only if
pen.
they wear
I'm
toast.
gonna have to do all
he
the
has
work.
to do is tell you what to do.
I can write a
tell you what
menu.
to do.
I will lift the pans.
I can write a menu.
And the challenge behind
Works for
this
me.
dinner is going to be geared towards the AIP diet. So we'll talk
Wow.
about that later on. But you two, I'm like putting cooking challenges out there.
I like
More
it.
work.
Don't you like it?
Yeah.
More work.
Okay.
All right.
So thank you. Well,
Thanks,
join
everybody.
us next time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.